So I think thematically speaking, future classrooms are very kind of, what would the future office look like is something that we were talking about the other day with some of the colleagues, and said maybe we don't need to have, work cabins anymore in the offices, which is already beginning to happen. And many of the organizations are beginning to sort of say, let's work from home, you are all connected, especially the IT, in the IT space, and they're beginning to save space on reality and real estate, and that's going to continue for some time to come in terms of till the time there's a balance found between that. And I was just thinking about this in the context of what the theme of this organization is about. What are the future classrooms? Is learning any different today than it was 100 years ago in terms of how a human brain learned, or is it the same? And how is it going to look like 100 years from now or 50 years from now? Or is human brain going to go some dramatic changes that the learning will suddenly sort of, you have to learn very differently? And therefore, does it have an impact on the future classrooms? I think the basics of learning in the context of learning per se haven't changed. What has really changed is methodologies. What has really changed is advent of new inputs that came in the form of various forms of technology and various forms of societal needs per se. So as we grew along, there was a time for us to train industrial era, during a time that the requirements of the schools the demands of the schools were very different, and therefore education methodologies became very different. And when we were being ruled and by other countries and other civilizations for hundreds of years, there were inputs that we received. But in today's context, when we talk about a flat world and a globally connected economy, and a global collaboration is the need of the hour, I think there are things to be pondered upon, basically saying that if the learning per se is not changing, and if you're going to keep focusing on the students enhancing their learning on a continuous process, what are the basic skills that the students need to have? And therefore, what should be the school's role in terms of adopting methodologies or technologies in the school system that will help them? One, what would make a child successful 15 years from now? Is there someone who can answer that question? Or 20 years from now, when they are into work, adult working in the middle of their work environments or careers, whatever they choose to do, and what are the skills that will help them be very, very successful at that age? So I think the fundamental issue is learning to learn is the basic skill that the kids need to have. That's not changed over years. That's not changed over decades. Those who were successful 100 years ago are the ones who always knew how to learn. Those who were successful 100 years ago and are successful today and would continue to be successful tomorrow are the ones who always communicated well. And they always had the confidence of communication and sort of taking it forward to a audience where they could influence the audience in the manner in which they wanted to do. You always needed to collaborate if you wanted to have in different pieces. If you look at small networks, if your network was a small community, it was different, but that community has become larger, and there are networks of multiple communities that are existing now, and they are communicating with each other. So from a student's perspective, it's the same skills. It's ability to collaborate, ability to work in a team, ability to communicate artfully and tactfully, ability to tell a story fruitfully, and those skills are not going to change. What's really changing is the technology. And it's not about, technology will keep changing. Tomorrow you have some 3D dimensions, and I say I wish that there was something that appears in the middle of this hall which will help showcase let's say the solar winds which will hit the earth in 2012. And something should make it happen, so make it visual for the students to absorb it. Now that's possible, right? And that's a function of your imagination, but are you going to be able to adopt that to classrooms? But what is really required is the imagination behind it, which is the student's mind and their ability to think. So what is really required is a strategy in the classrooms, which is always a balance of whatever technology is available, different geographies, different places, different systems will have different set of resources available, and balance between the traditional teaching and the technology that is available to them, and then applying it to develop these skills. And one area that we worked on, and I think we are very passionate about, is learning by doing, which is learning through projects. So when you make a child learn by doing things and using technology, he will learn better. And I think that's the direction that I think every school should take, every schooling system per se should take to go forward. Now, depending on, it could be a variety of technologies available in terms of what you can do, but the most cost effective today, in my view, is the one that allows you connectivity, that allows you to think, that allows you to create, that allows you to connect, and that allows you to share. So it's about thinking, it's about connecting, it's about creating, it's about sharing. And as long as you do that, that will help dissolve the boundaries. Whether it is cross-country boundaries, it's geographical boundaries, it's virtual boundaries, it's boundaries between different school systems. It's about within the school, same school systems, multiple schools talking to each other and sort of working and sharing together. And these are all possible today with the technology that is available today in our systems. Tomorrow, that technology could be a 3D could be a 5D, and a 5D could be a 10D. Who knows which generations will happen and what kind of spectrum of bandwidth and what kind of new technologies will get unleashed. We didn't know about 3G 5 years ago or 10 years ago. Who would have heard about 3G and video streaming on a mobile phone and video talking, etc. It all happened in the last 10-15 years. So that enablement is there, and I think what we are looking at is from a school systems perspective is having an open mind to be able to adopt to different technologies, to be able to say and to be having the wisdom to choose the right one, so that you are not cluttered with technology per se, but are able to make a decision based on what is right for the student to learn, what will actually engage the student in a manner in which he will not only learn what is related to his topic, his subject, but also make the contextual learning and relate it to the world outside and help the student actually solve real world problems. We learn about biology and physics and chemistry, but we don't have boundaries resolved between these subjects because we are siloed. So to be able to sort of think about, like someone asked me, in fact it was Professor Yashpal who asked this question 3 days ago, and he says, I was querying somebody, a student sent him a question bank and said, why does a flame, whether it is from a flame of a candle or a diya or anything, all flames have the same shape, why? And why do they always go up? Gravity is putting it down. Simple question by a student, but something to ponder about and say, can we think about it and say, can that be a project that the students must research and answer? And those are the areas. So ability to not only sort of teach the subjects in the classrooms, but then support it with a set of questions which will help challenge the students' minds which will challenge them to think, to collaborate amongst themselves, to be able to find solutions, which will actually they will be able to present and help them develop skills which will be successful. Today's workplaces will need that. Tomorrow's workplaces will need more of that. If you are not a person who works in a team, who collaborates, who is able to communicate across different cultures in a confident manner, chances are you are not going to be successful. And therefore, those are the skills that will be required in future, in times to come. Maybe more so, there will be probably more demanding. And therefore, that's the direction I think we need to go. And that's the way I think we need to think about. So with that, thank you for allowing me to come here and express myself. Sorry about being late. I didn't know I was going to be here in this room, but thanks for patiently listening. Thank you.